Hello, everybody.
Hi, guys.
Welcome to Set the Standard with your host, Dad, and
Genelle.
that's right.
We're excited.
We are excited.
Yeah.
We are covering a variety of topics. Hopefully, you've had an opportunity to look at some of our previous podcast videos.
At this point, hopefully.
Yeah. You know,
Shoot.
dating, loneliness,
Food, diet,
all kinds of stuff. Yeah. So all the social topics, I think, that are out there. And so today, we want to talk about health hacks. And if you've heard that term, then you kind of know what that is. And
or health trends.
Health trends, health, period, is important. And for the longest time, I know I've experimented with different things to try and get an edge or be healthier. So where I come from, my parents, I had a couple brothers, we ate really well.
Okay.
We didn't always eat the best food, but my parents had to feed a family of 5 on a pretty tight budget. You know, the nature of finding organic food per se at the store was something my mom considered when she shopped.
Do you think that was a thing when you were a kid?
You know, we could probably spend time just on that. But what I was going to say is, so my grandma had a farm. And as a kid, I spent a lot of time on the farm and had a chance to, you know, really put my hands in the dirt and learn about vegetables and all that. And it wasn't that I was doing it because I thought it was healthier. We did it because the food was essentially free, you know, because my grandma, you know, farmed it. And me and my brother and even my mom, we would go up there and help help plant it. We'd help keep it up. I mean, my grandma did the majority of the work. But she'd can things, so we had stuff in the winter, pickles and tomatoes and things of that nature. So I'm not saying that's a health hack or a health trend, but it is interesting that I came from that scenario to, you know, when you get kind of out there on your own, you're buying everything at the store, everything, where a large portion of our, you know, food that we had, or a good portion of it, was from the farm.
Yeah.
In a way, that's a health hack. In a way,
it's such a flex. You can go and pull up to a farm and get fresh,
totally cool,
local.
Yep, because the term organic, which is a health hack in its own way or health trend, is. I asked her. I said, "What qualifies?" You know, and she told me that they had to put the land in rest. I think it was 3 to 5 years. I forget what the qualifications are in order for it to be considered organic. So it's pretty cool. They don't use any pesticides or anything there. So we wanted to talk a little bit about kind of some of the things we've tried. Some of these you would say were successful, and you can gauge that on a bunch.
Or what works for you or works for us.
Yeah. And I don't think we're done experimenting. It started with way back when for me, when I went from being mostly a meat eater to a vegetarian. And in a way, that was a way of me, and I've already talked about this on a previous, I was trying to hack myself to a higher level of fitness. So I was trying to use food as sort of a...
And I'm trying to hack myself into age reversing backwards.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
And, you know, the one thing that Genelle told me the other day is this is my first time, I should say these previous podcasts, my first time actually being on, you know, film or being on YouTube. And I was like, man, I got to cut some weight. And Genelle goes, Dad, didn't you know you weigh 15 pounds more when you're on a video?
Yeah.
I was like,
and then
great.
Speaking of health hacks, he was making like a bagel with cream cheese. We love bagels.
What?
And
no, I wasn't.
He was making a everything bagel. And I walked in there and I go, you know, Dad, people on camera don't eat bagels. Tom Cruise, if he eats a bagel, it's a special occasion.
Well, I'm working on it.
Okay.
So it's a constant
progress.
health hack. So why don't we talk about the one we did just a few months ago first in terms of health hacks? And this isn't, you know.
Yeah. So these will be like kind of what therapies, I guess we'll categorize this.
Yeah. I put them all under, I mean, you could call them. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. We'll start with therapies just to help
go
categorize
ahead.
and everyone
You go
stay.
first.
Well, the first one that I was really into at the whole start of the year up until summertime, it's been a little too hot for me, but is the infrared sauna. So it's a red light sauna. So it's a little different than a regular sauna. There's coal that's used for a regular sauna, and it's a little bit more of a dry heat, where an infrared sauna also it's dry but not as dry, and it's heated up, or it's heated by red light. And red light therapy does so much for the body and the cells and stimulating new cell development and all that kind of stuff. And while you're sweating, you're getting rid of toxins and so many things. So sauna is the first thing, but I go to a few places in LA where they double it up with you can either go into a cryo chamber or a cold plunge bath. So what we did for my birthday, my dad and I said, Dad, for my birthday, I just want to do all my favorite things to do around LA. Plus, I want to try a cold plunge. It was my first time trying it, my dad's first time trying cold plunge. So we kind of messed up because we did the sauna for 30 minutes. I think it was a 30-minute session. Yeah, because you know what? We booked it for an hour. So you do 30-minute sauna, you come out, you change into a bathing suit or whatever you feel comfortable in. You do a 7-minute meditation that kind of helps like lower your heart rate after it, you were in the hot.
Are you talking about the training that they gave us?
Yeah. Well, it helps your breathing.
I know. It's funny though, you called it a meditation, but you put these headphones on.
Yeah.
There's kind of a big build up to this thing.
It is.
Almost maybe too much, don't you think?
Yeah, I think they really did it up because it was our first time.
Okay.
And yeah, because whenever I see other people do it. So anyways, we do this cold plunge. But before we cold plunge, they go, hey, one is 44 degrees and one is 40 degrees.
And I took the cold one.
Well, they go, yeah. They go, you'll notice in the future, 4 degrees difference makes a huge difference.
Oh, they didn't say that.
They did.
No, I don't remember all that. Anyway, go ahead.
They did.
I think you're making some stories now.
No, he did. And shout out Remedy Place. So
Remedy.
Yeah. So basically my dad's like, I'm doing the 44-degree one. I was like, okay, I'm going to freeze. And here I am. I have like way less fat covering my body to insulate any sort of heat. So then yeah, we did the cold plunge for 6 minutes. Now, I've heard since I've done it, everyone's like, oh, yeah, you start with 3 minutes. We did not start with 3 minutes.
Our boy set us up.
He did. We did 6 minutes. I had blue lips and was freezing. I could not warm up for at least 3 hours after doing the cold plunge. It was pretty uncomfortable, honestly. I didn't love it, but what's cool about the cold plunge and why a lot of people I think do this, the sauna, obviously you're detoxifying, you're rejuvenating your cells. There's so much you can do. Saunas are amazing. They're my favorite. Cold plunge is a whole different ball game because the point of cold plunge is to put your body in a fight or flight mode. So they say people who have a lot of like trauma or like horrible things from their past, childhood, anything like that, where it puts you in anxious situations or you fear certain things. Cold plunge, when you are literally plunging your entire body into that type of temperature, you are putting your body in a fight or flight mode. So basically your body wants to jump out of the cold water. So you're supposed to push yourself, hold yourself in this tub, and you're fighting against your fight or flight. So you end up fighting through. That's the point. So then your brain has this new mechanism, this new habit, this new way of when you're out there in the world and you're going through maybe an anxious situation or it's bringing up certain traumas or that fight or flight response, your body chooses to fight through it. So a lot of people use cold plunge as a way to overcome that. And, obviously cold water is really good for circulation and stimulation, stuff like that. You don't want to freeze because that will stop circulation, but joints, all of that. A lot of athletes use ice baths and things like that. They use cold therapy.
They use a lot of the ice baths for swelling,
right?
Like after a game or whatever.
So inflammation. Cold plunging is great for inflammation. So
well, it's a great. Those
are two.
Well, I was just listening to someone talk about this the other day, and they get into like 30-some degree temperature every day. And I will say my experience, mine wasn't too cold, and the first like minute is definitely it gets you going.
Yeah.
And then what they're teaching you is to control your mind because you do want to get out. It's fight or flight. And so when you stay in, you get through it, you kind of numb, which sounds kind of silly in a way. But I did feel, and what I heard the other day when I was listening to somebody, I did feel the after effect of like like almost energy.
Right.
Like I just felt like it really just energized my cells.
Yeah.
So I could see doing it every day. I think, I've looked into them as far as just one I could have that would be, not too complex. I keep it outside.
It's so cool. You were outside today, but I showed Terry, there's this place in Venice, and I'll actually pull it up on my phone. It's called Den Mother. And basically you get the private room for, you can do 30 minutes or an hour. And you have the sauna, you have the tub, and you have a shower. And you're outside, and they serve you hot tea. And so you go into this thing.
Venice Beach?
Yep.
Oh,
Yep. And I
wow.
think it's $85 for 30 minutes or $160 for the hour.
I'll have to do that.
I want to show you it actually while we're here, just sitting here on camera, but I'll show you this. Is it this one? Yeah, look at this. So you walk into the room. It's the shower, the sauna, the cold plunge.
Oh yeah, I like
right?
that. Yeah, let's do that.
And they're doing how cool is that?
Yeah.
So I told Terry I want them to come for the winter time. We'll go and do
Wait a minute.
our,
I don't need to. I'll just stay here and get cold plunged every day, just walking outside.
Yeah.
I'll just go in the lake.
Yeah, I don't know about.
I wonder I could probably.
That's probably below.
Why?
You don't want to do it too low.
No, not when it's free. Just before it freezes. Yeah.
Well.
Either way, that would be.
So your other therapy, my dad has another therapy he's really big on, is massages.
Yes, and I've started massages some time ago. And most people, when you go to get your first massage, you get the light pressure, or what do they call it? Normal Swedish massage.
Yep.
And that's where they just kind of
Now you move to deep tissue.
Yeah, and so after a while, not that I didn't like that, but I thought and I like 90 minutes because I don't feel 60's enough. But then I started doing some research, and they said, well, get a deep tissue, where they really get in the layers of the muscle and the fibers, and they can really, not to where I'm squirming on the table, although I have. And a lot of that has to do with getting familiar with your masseuse and making sure they understand where your comfort level is.
Yeah.
But I'm not going there to sleep. I'm going there to have my muscles
Get the work
worked out.
done.
Yeah. And I have found it to be, honestly, that's probably one of my favorite consistent things I do.
Yeah, you're very, very consistent.
I do. I like that.
When's the last time you had one?
Just 2 weeks ago, I think.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I'll come into town and my dad's like, I have a massage booked.
Yeah.
Oh, you did have one 2 weeks ago, so when I was leaving, you were getting
You
one.
should have told me. I have. I could have got you one this
It's
week.
funny. So what'd you think of the sauna? We'll just go over that really quick.
I did saunas years and years ago. I've done the steam sauna. I've done that with the rocks and the whole thing. And then I did the infrared one, and I almost bought one because I heard about all the benefits to your cells.
Yeah, it's unreal.
And so forth. You can get one for the house,
I think those are more expensive than the cold plunge tubs, though. Cold plunge tubs
No, actually, I went on, it depends what kind you want.
the infrared. The infrared ones are so expensive.
Yeah,
they
no,
start
you
at
can
like
get,
$5.
No, you can get but it depends if you want one you can lay down in. Now, I think those ones we were in, were you able to lay down in the one?
Yeah, I can put my feet up on the wall.
Okay, yeah, that wasn't the most comfortable. I was moving around a lot. But I went to one, there was one I used to go to. I didn't go a lot, but I went, you could lay down in there.
Okay.
And I mean, let's be honest, it's hot. That's the whole idea is you got to get in there.
Well, infrared to me is a lot more, you can stand it a little bit more because it's not as dry heat. Yeah. The saunas with the coals, dude, I can barely breathe in those. Yeah. So then I've done cryotherapy, which is where you stand in the chamber. You do that for less than a cold plunge. You do that for either a minute and a half up to 3 minutes. Don't think
you have to wear mittens?
Yeah, mittens and stuff. It's like pretty cold. You do it for way less of the time. And a lot of people find that you go into fight or flight a lot quicker in that. But people like to do a lot of those. So any other therapies that you have? I've done acupuncture at my chiropractor. So that's another therapy. We both have been into chiropractors for so long. My dad introduced me to a chiropractor when I was 2?
Believe it or not, when you were a newborn.
Yeah. I
so
think
they take a baby when they're, and you take them there, you're a couple days old.
Yeah.
And they just like do this. They tip you. They don't really, and there's probably some chiropractors out there watching, but someone said, you took your kid to a chiropractor. I said, yeah. I mean, look how you turned out. You're a little crooked, but other than that, you're...
My chiropractor, Dr. T in LA, she's the best. I've been going to her for 7 years. She's probably watching this. She's probably like, the other day I posted on my Instagram in this little workout outfit supporting my friend, and she was like, your right shoulder is higher. You need to come in. So as soon as I get to LA tomorrow, I'm going to go in and see Dr. T. But we've been going to the chiropractors for so long. You know, it's always done us well. And
well, I think it makes sense in the world. And a lot of these health hacks, what we're trying to do is, if you think about all the different exposures you have in this world, whether it's just being outside and breathing the air, to the impact of just, we live in a concrete jungle a lot of times. We're in cars, we're sitting at desks. You know, all these things have impacts. And you might be saying, well, why do I need to do all this stuff? This is just about years ago when I first really...
Well, we like to do all this stuff because it's fun.
Well, years ago when someone asked me, you know, I had this guy I used to work with, and he'd eat bacon, he smoked non-filter cigarettes and stuff, and he used to make fun of me. He goes, "You're going to be the healthiest dead guy I know." And I said, you know, I'm not necessarily looking to live longer, although that'd be great. I'm looking to live a healthier life overall. That's really the goal here, is not just to do this stuff if we do something and we don't find it,
we want to feel better while we're living.
Right, but we want to make sure that it's benefiting it's part of our goals.
But also this stuff feels so good, like a massage.
Yeah, well, I think that the physiological aspects of a massage make sense to me.
Yeah, totally.
You know, just that blood flow and all that stuff. So anyway,
I love that. Well, and then to say for the chiropractor too, I've gotten arguments where people are like, well, that's a lifetime devotion then. That's not a cure.
That's not true.
Well, what I'm going to say is eating healthy is a lifetime devotion.
Well, what I would say is
a lot of things
you don't have to go every day to the chiropractor.
True.
Right. So in my case, if I'm doing a lot of athletic stuff and I'm abusing my body and I'm twisting my spine and lifting and all kinds of crazy stuff, well, guess what? It probably makes sense to go more often. You know, the thing under that too that I wanted to mention is kinesiology. And when I was first starting out looking at all this stuff, I went to a guy who was, and a lot of chiropractors are kinesiologists as well.
Okay.
And that's the muscle aspect of it. So you have the structural, the bones, the spine, if you will. And the kinesiologist also looks at the movements of the muscles and effect of the muscles. And they do a lot of things too in terms of manipulation and all these things. So I didn't stick with that. Might be interesting for the audience to kind of share if have done some kinesiology stuff, but that would be the only other one I'd add to this, is something that we should, you know, as far as a therapy,
look into.
might add that to the list.
Well, and it's cool, you know, when you and Terry come to town too, at a big thing. I know it's going to become popular, and I've already heard people talk about it, and my chiropractor has this, it's not an MRI, but it's a machine you sit in for about an hour, and it scans your whole body for precancerous cells. So I'm going to try that. That's going to be one of my new therapies. So from therapies, we're going to move on to workouts. There's so many workouts to name. We'll go through it and we'll kind of break down the ones that we've individually tried. But there's weights, cardio, CrossFit, yoga. I do Pilates. I do ballet. There's all these different types
There's what are those, rowing? There's rowing classes now.
And with the
Peloton.
or there's even like a Stairmaster class where you can actually go to, that's brutal. There's hot Pilates where you're not on an actual reformer machine. You're actually just on a mat and you have free weights. Trampoline. Terry jumps on a trampoline.
What's that? Orange Theory? I never went to one of those.
I never went to one of those.
That's kind of like a CrossFit, I think, but not as, I don't know, they use weights as much.
There's boxing. Boxing is so popular 100%. In LA.
Great fitness there.
Yeah. So there's.
Well, jiu-jitsu, people do that as another, that's a fitness.
And I think I said yoga. There's hot yoga. There's what's the one that's super, super hot? Ooh, Bikram.
Oof.
Yeah. Oof. That's a crazy one.
That's where I felt I couldn't breathe, man. That was hot. I was like,
I've done the vinyasa.
Yeah. Or vinyasa. No, I think it is it? No, it's not.
I know,
it is Bikram, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yoga
so anyways,
experts.
which ones have you done? Which ones have you liked and not liked?
Well, so I would, my routine, I tend to fall into routines and stick with them. And that can be good and bad. I've lifted weights now for, 40 years. So, and what's changed is what I lift, or how I lift, I should say, the methods. So I'm I believe, especially as you get older, people tend to overlook because you're losing muscle mass, unfortunately, as you get older, and women and men. I think women need to consider doing some kind of strength exercise. Just
like
keep
Pilates is amazing.
Pilates.
It's just like such like a light impact, right? What would you say? Not as high impact. You'd say low impact, excuse me. A low impact workout where you're stretching, you're able to stretch, you're building your muscles, and it's weights, which is nice. It's not cardio. I mean, you get your heart rate up, but
I think for strength, it's good. I like.
So what are your top favorite workouts?
Well, again, the weights we talked about.
You love weights.
So sticking with just that, I think you've got to do some form of resistance training. I don't care if you use bands. I don't care if you use, because there's so many different ways to do it.
Yep.
I tend to stick with dumbbells, free weights. I like the balancing of dumbbells and what that does for me compared to using barbells. So
Right.
I'm big on that. And so I think whatever you use for resistance, you can just do push-ups and sit-ups and pull-ups, anything. I always tell people, do something. So there's so many things. Cardio wise, I'm a cyclist. That's my thing between hiking, which I don't consider that it is cardio, but not anything intense. Where when
hiking? I can be intense.
Well, I know what I'm saying is if you're hiking uphill, clearly it's like when I go out there and we hike up.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. What do you mean?
No, I'm just saying what I'm trying to say is a different type. Whereas if I do the cycling stuff that I do, so I always like some resistance strength and some cardio of some sort. I am getting more intrigued with the rowing idea.
Well, you used to, though, if you were pivoting backwards, you were a big yoga guy, and you did do CrossFit. Talk about those.
Well, I did CrossFit. I liked it.
We did like a summer where we went to this like setup. We were in like a warehouse. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a cool thing. Look, I think
that's cardio and weights.
Whatever works for you. They got a great following. People got really excited about that.
Yeah.
They were doing it. I think that it's great if that's what you're into. And I would just always caution people, be careful, consult your physician. But in all seriousness, just be careful when you do these things. But CrossFit gives you, it's a workout.
What do you think about yoga? You did it for so long.
Well, one of the things I think that I lacked in over the years was flexibility. Yeah. And men tend to be less flexible anyway. And so when I started really evaluating, I go, man, that's the one thing I really don't do very well. So I joined a yoga class. I've never done this. So I was going to yin yoga pretty much twice a week.
You were.
And I liked it. I felt like I hurt my back a couple times. And I'm not blaming anybody who teaches yoga or whatever. I think it was my own trying to.
What, just from reaching forward?
I think I'm always push myself maybe harder than I should. So anyway, I stopped going. I just wasn't finding that I was enjoying it as much.
Yeah.
But it was quiet time too, which I like, that getting into your zone
At
there.
night,
that was pretty cool. Yeah. So, I mean, maybe this winter we pick that back up.
Yeah, in the
I
winter
thought it was
it's so nice because it's warm.
So I think you need, as I said, resistance, cardio, stretching is great. To me, those three would be the big three as far as overall in terms of activities. Now, what you mix in for cardio, I love cross-country skiing. Listen, if you've never cross-country skied before.
You love cross-country
Well, they say in the Olympics, the Winter Olympics, those are the fittest athletes of anybody, is the cross-country ski folks. And if you've never done it, do it. And you will walk away going, oh, I see why now.
As a kid, you would get us out there.
Oh, I love it.
You do.
Winter has gotten tougher over the years as I've gotten older. But if it's going to be cold and there's going to get some snow, put me out on the cross country. But now I do my fat bike with the studded tires and ride across the lake.
Yeah, that's wild. My dad will send me videos literally biking on the frozen lake.
It's pretty cool. You got to try it sometime. Yeah. All right. What do you want to talk to now about?
Wait, you didn't ask me about my workouts.
What's your workouts, dude?
So I just want to speak for the girls out there. I this year took up ballet within just the past year. As a young kid, I did do dance. But ballet has been.
It was very expensive.
Yeah.
I still have all the outfits I can't wait to give you.
Yeah. I got into it. My friend is a professional dancer. She does all forms of dance, pretty much every form of dance. And so I got into ballet. As I got into acting, I wanted to be able to move my body in different ways. And, you know, being multi-talented in LA helps you in so many ways. So I got into ballet, and I was doing Pilates for 5+ years already at this point. And the difference in just like what muscles you use in ballet and stretching and all that, it's just a completely different sport and movement. So ballet has been, for the girlies out there, if you can find a place, you know, start at a beginning class, go. It helps so much with flexibility, and the music is so beautiful.
Strength.
We have a maestro, and she plays. It's a live pianist every time we're dancing. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
And we bow to her. It's such a different appreciation in life. You forget that there are cultures like that, and they kind of do some history. They teach you about Russian ballet versus the British versus the American. It's really cool. So I just really wanted to speak on that because I think it's put my body in a different place. With flexibility and movement. I've been doing reformer Pilates. I'm not a big mat and free weight girl. I should, but I'm not the best at it. I like the reformer. You feel like you're doing a dance. So that's a big thing for me. I was doing yoga a lot with my dad, the yin yoga. In LA, they do a hot yoga. It's not the Bikram. It's one stage under, and they'll do like themed Beyonce music. So it's like hip hop. So you're moving faster. You're not holding poses for at long. So, cause sometimes the long poses, I'd be like, oh, like I'm so over, my legs get numb.
Like, I think they went up to 3 minutes.
My leg would go numb. So I just wanted to speak on those. Those are the things, like when I get back to LA, I've got a Pilates class. I'm going to ballet on Saturday. And then I have to say hiking. I hike about 4 to 5 days a week. Walking uphill, even if you can do it in the gym for 30 minutes, I swear to your body will change. It will change. It's literally the best workout. So I'm really passionate about those. I think I feel like if I didn't get to talk about that. So let's talk about things we ingest. I'm going to kick off this chapter of the podcast.
Uh-oh. Ooh, see if she can do it without making a face.
Yeah.
Do it first, then tell them what it is.
Okay. Well, why don't you tell them what it is while I drink it?
I'm not totally sure what she put in there, but one of the we talk about supplements and other types of things that you can do to help your body is apple cider vinegar straight up, or you can mix it with a variety of lemon juice, orange juice, some turmeric, and you have a face like that when you're all done. We typically do this in the morning. And if you do it like first thing when you wake up, and we'll have another podcast on kind of the routine. So if you do that first thing in the morning, it's just really good for setting your digestive system.
So good for acid reflux.
Yep.
So good for your gut digestion for the day. It has changed the way I have like gas and bloating. I know that sounds crazy, but you know, there are times where I do go out to restaurants. Living in a big city, we love to go out, hang out, have restaurant food. Restaurant food makes me feel sick. It just does, because I eat so clean all during the week. And when I have my apple cider vinegar, even right before I go out for the evening, if I do it with diluted with water, you always want to dilute it with water. I know having it raw, like out of the jar, is not good. It can burn your throat, kill your enamel. Definitely dilute it. Sometimes I do it right out because I'm running out the door. I should not do it.
Well, do you do just like a teaspoon or tablespoon?
I'll just out the thing. Yeah.
Nice.
But this mixture was squeezed orange, squeezed lemon, pepper, turmeric, cayenne, apple cider vinegar, water. So, and a little bit of maple syrup to offset the bitterness and the burn. But cayenne, even if you do cayenne water and some Celtic salt, or I think I always say that wrong, but incredible. Getting your minerals, unreal. So ingesting. Dad taught me about aloe vera. You always had aloe vera in the fridge. That was good for what were you doing that for?
Well, it's also for digestion.
Okay.
It's a good one for that. I've taken it. I did that one more at different times. It's not something I did all the time. It was just good for overall digestion and so forth. So I would do aloe vera, and I'm thinking of the other one now that tasted like mint.
Chlorophyll.
Chlorophyll. That's right.
I still do chlorophyll.
Okay. Chlorophyll's cool.
It helps. Basically, the thing of chlorophyll is it cleanses your blood. And it helps with just your internal body smell.
That's right. It does.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, be careful. If you drink a lot of it, you'll notice it on the back end.
Yeah. Oh gosh. No, but
Not bad.
even like for like armpits and stuff, like I don't wear deodorant.
Because it has aluminum in it.
Well, you can get aluminum free, but then I just feel like
Always check that.
it doesn't really work. It's tacky. But if you like to use, just make sure you use aluminum free. But I ingest chlorophyll because it helps with your internal body smell, and it does make a big difference. I'm not perfect always, but it makes a big difference. Another thing we do a lot is vitamins. We ingest vitamins.
Yeah, and I think this is one where I've seen people get over the top with vitamins, and here's what I'll say.
Yeah.
The best thing you can do to determine what your real mineral needs are, vitamins and minerals, is
get
to
tested.
That's right. The best thing is get a good screening done, blood screening, and really find out where, you might have some deficiencies before you just start piling in. I think people hear a commercial, I got to start taking that, and they start piling in all this stuff in.
Right.
The body will only use what it needs. So when I first started lifting weights, I remember this guy came up and goes, "Oh, hey man, you need to do 2.2 grams of protein per pound of body weight." So I'm like, okay, that's how I'm going to get big. I'm eating like 400 or 500 grams of protein. Ooh. My gut hurts. I can't go to the bathroom and so forth. So, years later I read and they go, yeah, your body, it'll just throw it all out.
Yeah.
It's not going to, you
well,
can't
yours
assimilate.
Clearly wasn't.
Well, it was, again, so I really, all these things we talk about, there's so much information to research this. We're not saying go do any of it except think about it.
Well, we both have worked with a dietitian, me specifically though, the most. And basically she tested us. She tested our stool.
Popo.
Yeah. And from there she was able to see so many things. Yes. And you can get it tested many times. Yep. And basically we got put on a few supplements. I'm on beef liver. I love to do vitamin C, and I love a vitamin D and magnesium I take together because you need them together.
Well,
and I find those are good.
Gut health is a big thing now.
Well, because we're so messed up from processed food.
That's exactly right. So I remember when I first got into all this crazy stuff years ago, there was like this term gut health and leaky gut. Yeah. Never heard that before. And now it's everywhere. And so this individual that Genelle's speaking of,
Sarah, shout out Sarah.
Sarah, thank you. Great job. She really is good at reading those results. And what you find is you need certain bacteria, in your system. You need things that help you, probiotics and all these terms you've heard. Again, don't run out and buy. I used to do acidophilus was a big one for me.
Oh, I haven't heard. What's?
Yeah, it's again, it's a good bacteria that you need.
Okay.
Your colon is really it's this.
It's your gut flora.
It's very unique in how it works, and when it gets out of balance or leaky or whatever, you got all these problems. So, which, I've done enemas before, and I've done them both at home, and there are places you can go. And another thing,
you can go
to the go, but the enemas are another thing where in my curiousness to get healthier. I think I overdid it, quite frankly.
You did?
Yeah, because if you flush out,
wipe it out too much.
That's exactly right. And if you're doing it and not understanding what you're doing, so I would just say all those types of things, you got to be very careful. Yep. Do some research, talk to people.
Same thing with talk about ingestion. We're gonna go opposite. Fasting.
That's right.
Yeah, that's something you just have to be careful with. I know there are days, especially as a woman, our hormones are different than men.
They are?
Well, we're kind of like, I feel like you guys are, well, I know you guys are a lot more stable.
Yes, we are very stable.
I found I love to do a 30 to 36 hour fast. I try to do it once every 2 weeks just to give my body a break. Your body will digest first.
You drink water.
I do drink water, and I do mix lemon and maple syrup.
Okay.
And some cayenne.
Okay.
Because that will hold you over a little bit. And then I was drinking some coffee on my fast.
And there's different kinds of fasts too. You can do a fast when a gallbladder cleanse at the same time.
I was just doing liquids. Right. I just wanted, you can do so many different fasts. Yep. I was doing it to give my gut a break, but I found in my cycle there was a day where I was fasting and I was like not feeling good. I was just like I'm doing the exact same thing. And I was just like, okay, I'm going to break the fast and I'm going to eat. So you just have to listen to your body when you're doing that. But my dad's right. There's different types, right? You can do the salt one where you drink salt.
Epsom salt. Well, yeah. And I think, you know, what's interesting about a fast too, which you're talking about the physiological aspect, the mental side.
Oh, it's unreal. It's crazy.
You know, to try and, man, because you're in this routine, you wake up and you go, okay, today I'm going to fast. Maybe you tell you could start at night.
Yeah.
And actually I find that works best. Start your last
6
meal,
p.m.
right? Your last meal, 6 p.m. And then you go the whole next day. You could even go the whole next day
into
that night, that morning.
I'm trying. Yeah.
And what you'll find is your mind, you will have these cravings
I know.
that are, it's overwhelming. I mean, you talk about addictions and different things. We're addicted to food. There's no doubt about. I mean, we have drive. We want to eat, and man, you'll be in. You know, whether
and you think you're gonna die or something.
Oh, it's crazy. But that's where the water comes in. What's really crazy if you do extended fast, you get past that, right? Where the hunger part or this craziness to eat, you actually will get more energy. And you know, research this. It's pretty amazing.
And your brain clears.
Yes.
It clears. It's so crazy. I decided on my fasting day, my last one, I went to a coffee shop. I got my big thing of water. I was drinking so much water. I was doing it with my best friend. And we both got our coffees. I did get a little bit of honey. And we were sitting there and I was just able to write emails. I wasn't distracted by my phone. My attention was just on point. It just was. The end of the day, I was starting to get a little edgy. But I was on point. It made my brain really clear. So fasting is another great one. I also feel more connected. Like if you go in nature, we laid at the beach one day and fasted. And
well, fasting was originally for spiritual connection to
Jesus did it.
Well, yeah, and it what it's supposed to do is you focus your mind on that versus food. Because we all focus on food. Food's all around. I mean, you go get gas at the gas station. There's food. There's food everywhere.
Literally.
You know, so it's definitely. And we're not going to get into this in this podcast. We're not going to get into what the eating side of things at this one. Yeah, this is more of the health hacks or health.
But fasting is so great because then your body can focus on repairing cells. It's a big known thing that then when your body's not digesting, it can repair and just heal and relax. You know, it does go through a little stress. But opposite of fasting is food combining. I basically tried it for a good few months. It's basically where you eat food in a certain way as you're eating. Your body is digesting, let's say, you're supposed to eat your meat first. I don't eat meat, but let's say you have meat, a vegetable, and a carb on your plate. You're supposed to eat the meat first. That goes in. So it sits at the bottom of the stomach, then the carb, then the vegetable, because the vegetable is, or maybe it's the opposite. No, I think it's the meat first because you want the meat to then go down into the intestines first and then, or it's the vegetables first because of the fast, whatever. I haven't done it in so long, but food combining is a huge trend that hit the internet because of YouTube. Influencers were doing what I eat in a day, and that was a big thing. It was how you ate your food. And then a big thing I'm into, especially because I'm a vocalist, I sing, I talk a lot, I wear out my voice, I overuse it. Tea is huge for me. I do throat coat. I love chamomile. Last night I had chamomile. I laid down. I was feeling so sleepy. It just relaxes me. And green tea is an amazing thing that's been used in medicine for so long to help with anti-aging. The antioxidants in it are insane. So I'm a big green tea, chamomile, throat coat girl. So those are kind of my things. So if we get into the actual maybe health hacks or anti-aging stuff, there are taps. What are these called? Drips you can do that are vitamin packs. You can do NAD.
IVs. Yeah.
IVs. Yep. NAD is a huge one. Oh my gosh. People talk about it for the brain. It can literally reverse aging. There's so much information that is on there. I have not done an IV. I am scared of
IV.
An IV.
Yeah, you said NIV.
An IV.
Oh, an IV.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
You okay over there?
Terry has.
Yeah,
A lot of it.
the NAD ones are like $800. They're pretty expensive, and you're like, it can make you feel pretty nauseous. So you got to be careful. But there's just definitely do, or we can do a whole nother podcast with some research.
I think
but
so.
Then,
and again, I think it's important to talk to when you're going to do anything like injections. You better be talking to a doctor.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I don't want to be.
Yeah, I haven't even done the drips.
And
so.
same with PRP, which is the plasma and the stem cell. I've been intrigued by that one for quite some time because I've heard different uses for it, and I know some folks who've have had it. One guy I know, he's had ongoing back issues, and he got some injections in his back.
Okay.
And unfortunately, you got to pay cash for this stuff.
Right.
You know?
This is not.
And it wasn't cheap, and I know it varies from depending where you live, but he said it worked.
Wow.
Yeah, so
it's not cheap though.
I can't speak. I have not done that.
And for those who don't know, plasma is they spin your blood and they pull this yellow type of thing from the blood.
And then they mix stem cells, which there's been controversy on that over the years
but they've grown hair with it. They put it in people's scalps and grow hair.
I think that's one for the future. Maybe we'll have
for sure. All these.
Maybe we'll have a guest on and we'll talk about that in the future.
Yeah.
But there's a lot out there now about
God.
PRP, and I'm intrigued by that. I was going to get some for my shoulder, but my shoulder got better, so I would try it before I'd get surgery.
Yeah.
Just because, rather than go through all that hassle. But
yeah.
I think gadgets was the last one.
Oh my God, how cool! So I'm currently wearing my Aura ring. Basically, this is like a new thing. Well, it's been around for a while, but it basically tracks your heart rate, your steps, your sleep. It's like so on point with your sleep schedule, your body temperature, and based off your body temperature as a woman, it can track your period right on the exact day, all of that stuff that comes along with it. It's really accurate. It's really crazy. But the sleeping is why I got it. The app is amazing. They even at night have these like 5 to 10 minute, it puts you in the zone, and then it takes your heart rate and it lets you know, your mind was here, whatever. It tells you.
Well, it talks about REM, non-REM sleep, all kinds of stuff.
No. When I'm doing the little meditation at the end of the night, they give you meditations to do to relax your body, get ready for bed.
Okay.
No. So the Aura Ring is my new first gadget I've had on my body. Now you've had something on your body.
Yeah, I don't have it on. I typically wear just a sport watch type deal. I don't have the Apple Watch or a Fitbit. I know those are popular. There's all kinds out there. The one particular one I use is it tracks everything. I mean, when I'm strength training, when I'm hiking, when I'm whatever, biking.
It's the what?
Yeah, it's a Garmin.
Yep.
And it's a watch, so I got it on all the time.
Terry, where's that same one?
She does actually, and she was into the Fitbit originally, and then switched over. So why are gadgets? It's kind of cool to see how you're doing. That's why I like to track whether you write stuff down, like even your diet, if you're dieting, which we didn't even get into in this podcast. But I think some form of tracking today. I mean, your iPhone, or whatever phone, your Android will track everything. So the cool thing about that is, I know it's funny. My wife and I, we'd say, "How many steps did you get today?" I got 18,000. Well, I got 22,000. Oh, I better go out and get 4,000 more. We'd laugh about that. We even have a Fitbit for our dog.
Fitbark.
Is it Fitbar? I forget what it's called.
Fitbark.
But it's pretty funny because we can see how many steps the dog takes. It's pretty crazy to think about it. So anyway, those are some of our...
Well, wait. I've got a few more.
Oh, boy. All right.
So I got Dad a Theragun. He used to use a Theragun.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. So that kind of like, it just like punctures the muscle. It's like a fast massage type of thing.
And I have used it.
Yep. I'm really big into heating pads. So if you have any sort of sore muscles, I have a heating pad right next to my bed that I like to lay on in the winter and go to sleep. And it just helps relax my body.
Foam rollers.
Foam rollers, you're big on that.
Those are...
I'm like thinking of,
They can be painful.
Every morning and night, I use a face steamer that steams my vocal cords, so it helps hydrate my vocal cords.
Is that a health hack?
Yeah, because then you can steam your face, and then you can like wash your face.
Do I need to start steaming my face?
So then morning and night, I also get a block of ice I have at my place, or when I'm here, I use ice, and I just rub ice all over my face. It helps with all of the inflammation and just kind of like depuffs your whole face. So those are just kind of like those are like my things, my go-tos.
Yeah. Health hacks.
Yeah. So let us know what you guys would want us to elaborate on, and maybe we can even do, on my channel, a vlog of us doing health hacks when they come to the West Coast.
And we didn't even talk about coffee and MCT oil and other things. So
we didn't even do
there's
honey.
so many things. We'll do more.
I know.
Yeah, we'll do another one. Sure.
This is so fun though. So thank you guys so much. Don't forget to subscribe. Follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. We appreciate all the support.
We do.
And
you guys have been great. Thank you.
Don't be afraid to comment.
Yes, we like feedback.
Yeah. All right, you guys. We'll see you guys in the next episode.
Peace.